It could be the forgotten season, or like the most intriguing season.
I don't know, it's just the weirdest thing that I've experienced, maybe my whole life.
The legitimacy of everything in my mind, it was as real as it gets.
We can complain about how hard it is, or we can make the most of it.
The 2020 season will be remembered as one of the most unusual years in Cubs history. Everything about this season was different, but it almost didn't happen.
This is really an unprecedented day. Spring training has been suspended. The start of the regular season will be delayed.
The widespread effects of the COVID-19 pandemic forced baseball to go on hold, where the unknowns outweighed the knowns.
It's gravely important that we all follow the lead of the experts, follow the science, and take actions that are in the best interest of the greater good and public health.
A lot of concern, a lot of trepidation about what the future was going to hold. I think there was fear about the virus. I think there was concern about our season.
Our lives kind of have revolved around baseball. It was definitely unsettling. We didn't know what to do.
For me, it was just a scramble, trying to get guys home in a routine, trying to get dates of when we might pick up.
Kind of like dragged on March, April, and into May. And you kind of get to that point where you're like, I don't know if this is even going to happen.
Through the shutdown, Cubs players quickly adjusted to the new reality the same way all of us did, learning to work from home.
It was just very strange trying to figure out, I need weight equipment, I need baseballs. And then we started figuring out just what to actually do.
Pitchers used makeshift mounds and backyards to keep their arms ready. And the Cubs' strength and conditioning coordinator sent videos so players could work out from home without equipment.
I learned more about myself, about my routine, and it made it enjoyable and fun, along with the coaches trying to figure out what we have to do on a day-in and day-out basis.
And once a week, the team came together for a weekly Zoom call hosted by Anthony Rizzo.
In a time like this, you search for things to remind you of maybe your purpose, and maybe your joy, and maybe your outlet. So it's just great to have someone like Rizzo say, hey guys, let's get on a video chat and see each other's faces.
Ian Happ took togetherness a step further, inviting 3 young Cubs to move in with him so they can train together through the quarantine.
So here we go. I'm going to take you on a little tour, show you around the compound a little bit.
It's awesome, honestly. If you're going to be quarantined, it's not a bad place to be quarantined at.
We have a tennis court, we have a basketball court, golf course close, and we've turned our gym garage into a weight room. A couple of trap bars, nice equipment. This is where the magic happens.
Got a tennis ball feeder that we use for ground balls as well. So you can actually get a pretty good workout moving around.
Nutritious.
My mom was even like, Zach, if you come home, you better have gotten kicked out, because that place, you're going to be sadly mistaken if you come home and you think you're going to have that.
I'm so proud of our group on how they took that challenge. They worked very hard. They had fun. They brought energy, made the best of it.
After a 3-month delay, baseball was coming back, but the schedule would look much different.
the schedule will indeed be 60 games. Now, Major League Baseball also targeting opening day on July 24th, so we could have as many as 66 days to fit the whole thing in.
You need a significant sample size in baseball to determine who's the best team. We sort of knew that 60 games cuts that short, so you knew there was going to be a lot of uncertainty, but that's what we were dealing with.
You know, it was a sprint, and we knew it was a sprint. During normal years, the last 2 months are so important. Basically, you're starting from the last 2 months, so, you know, it was something different.
I don't care if it's a 5-game season. If they're passing out a trophy, I want it.
It's a historic season that's probably never going to be one like it again, or at least in my lifetime. So there was a sense of pride, I think, of pulling it off.
Although the season was set, the biggest question was, could Major League Baseball get through it safely? For Cubs pitching coach Tommy Hotovy, he knew firsthand the dangerous effects of the virus.
I got COVID right about mid-May. I got the pneumonia, got into my lungs. I don't feel like I ever get sick. So when I did and it got that bad, I was obviously concerned.
I'm only 2 weeks from finally testing negative, and 30 days of, quarantine from my family, like what my wife had to. What she had to, endure for a month. You just don't want to put anybody through that.
Having gone through what I went through, there was absolutely hesitation and thoughts of even opting out. But the more I talked about it, me being accessible to these guys and showing them that hey, you got through it, I felt like it was really important for me to be part of it, and I wanted to be part of it.
I think we were all just anxious to see what kind of a grip we could get on getting enough testing and all those things. So once we came into summer camp, got that process going, it put us a little bit more at ease.
We're taking every safeguard that we possibly can. We can't let our guard down, and we can't fool ourselves into thinking that we can control all the variables here.
Our focus entirely was on making sure that we could do this in the safest way possible to make sure that we could avoid positive tests, and that comes with a lot of thought.
There was a morning app we had to fill out every day and check our temperature twice. You grab your test kit, send that in. After we got to the field, you would take another one of those app tests, and then you would go in. You can complain about how hard it is and different and how it's outside of our routine, and we can focus on the negatives, or we can make the most of it.
When we showed up, precedent was set that basically you're trying to create your own bubble.
Everything that we're used to in the clubhouse and at the field was completely turned upside down.
Kind of had to rethink everything we've been doing for decades and decades. We first converted Wrigley into a food pantry. We were able to convert the concourse into this essentially assembly line of boxed food going out to those in need. And when the players came back, we disassembled the food conveyor belts and turned it into weight room strength training, nutrition, and batting tunnels for both the home and the visitors.
We moved the weight room outside. We did all the food service outside. We sort of spread out the lockers, used ancillary rooms to house players.
They tried to make everything available for us outside and use all of Wrigley, give us the suites so that we could have kind of a getaway for our own little area, because we knew we were going to be there a lot.
Normally we're confined to our space, and to be able to kind of use the entire ballpark this year, to see the concourse, to see every little detail of Wrigley that makes it so special, it's honestly been a cool experience.
It's really created a sense of a bubble where everyone is chipping in and performing functions they don't normally perform in order to make this work.
Cubs front office members found themselves in new roles, assisting in the ballpark and on the field, while the players found themselves in the stands.
Wondering what you thought of the fan in the bleachers last night watching the scrimmage.
He's like, it's like
It's like where's Waldo? He's where's Rizzo?
It was cool to see different angles and views and fan points from the game. Sitting there, just a lot of it felt like you were a kid again.
Some of my fondest memories from this summer were from summer camp. I think we were just all so excited to see baseball. That glimmer of hope is really a source of a ton of optimism.
I was so fired up and just so excited to go out there and play again.
Our entire world has changed forever in the 299 days since the Cubs last played a game that counted. But beginning tonight, the chance to escape for a few hours a day, 60 times in the next 66 days. Cubs baseball is back.
The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike three.
Swing and a miss. 3 strikeouts for Hendricks.
Happ drives one in the air to center. Back goes Kane. Kane still going back. That ball is gone. It's a 2-run home run to center for Ian Happ. Rizzo drives one in the air. Deep right field down the line. Curling in the corner. That's going to be a home run. And he hits a ground ball to short. This could do it. Baez to second. Cubs win. It is a 3-hit shutout for Kyle Hendricks.
It was one of the most fun games I've ever been a part of. But baseball was really the only normal thing. There were no fans, there were nothing. It was completely different.
The 2020 Chicago Cubs season began on a high note. But the 40,000 people that packed Wrigley Field each game to cheer on the Cubs were missing. No fans would be allowed to attend games at Wrigley Field, making empty seats the prevailing image of the season.
We definitely miss seeing people here. We definitely miss hearing the roars, the reactions, the people getting into the game with us.
Playing without the fans, playing without that motivation is pretty hard for me and a lot of players. We don't want to get used to it, but we are dealing with it.
Those special moments that you get, signing a kid's ball, things that, sometimes you may take for granted, you really miss it.
The idea of hosting a game with no fans means you're going to try a lot of things for the first time.
This is what Wrigley Field looks like in the current state with social distancing, no fans. Oh, look at this! Just like that, fans are packing the stands. Listen, it's not going to look or sound like what you're used to. This is just to make it a little bit more normal once in a while.
We sat around to talk about what kind of game experience did we want to bring to our fans. We debated the question of cutouts.
A lot of teams have cardboard cutouts in the seats behind home plate and the dugouts.
The idea of putting cardboard people in seats just felt completely the opposite of what we've been trying to do for the last 20 years. It just didn't feel authentic.
Although you couldn't see fans at Wrigley, you could still hear them.
We played around with a whole series of options in terms of fan noise. Ultimately, we settled on creating our own, what we call the Sounds of Wrigley.
It's 2 strikes, 2 outs. I've got a big cheer ready because he goes 1, 2, 3 here. You're going to get a much bigger cheer, especially a strikeout. End of the inning, we want to hit crowd extends. Initial one fades out, crowd sort of extending. it kind of all naturally fades.
We do have some synthetic noise. It's more for just the general buzz to give the illusion of a big league atmosphere.
Hot dog vendors, beer vendors, peanut vendors, things like that. Let's go Cubs chants, the player specific things.
Hobby chant.
Another thing I've been picking up on lately is, especially later in the game, to try to mimic the energy of the dugout and amplify it. Rick Ross is great because you can see him, he's a big cheerleader. He starts clapping, I might try to hit the clap just to sort of amplify what's already going on down there. I think that's a little foolhardy to think that you could ever really replicate a full stadium at Wrigley Field, like an experience of 40,000 fans that are dynamically changing. I think it's more about making sure what you do play and selectively playing things sounds as authentic as one can when playing fake crowd noise. Just got to have fun with it.
Although fans weren't able to cheer on the Cubs this year, Cubs staff members would help fans collect a piece of the game.
It's our job to collect foul balls that are in the seating bowl, as well as home run baseballs in the bleachers, so we can get those baseballs to fans who would typically catch them.
Pat Manaher and the Cubs Authentics team walk up and down the stands to gather lonely baseballs, which will be delivered to season ticket holders.
It's 2 over there.
Kyle Schwarber drives one in the air, deep left field, back is Yelich, it's got a chance, gone!
This home run from Kyle Schwarber is a special one. The ball hit the Advocate tarp in left field, which means the ball will be delivered to a patient at Advocate Children's Hospital.
Kyle Schwarber's opposite field, hefty home run, measured 373 feet.
Got it, right here. Get a quick picture. There's no other baseballs around here, so that's it.
After the balls have been quarantined in storage for 48 hours, Cubs Authentics is ready to ship the balls to lucky Cubs fans.
So we'll go ahead and match up the hologram numbers to the season ticket holder location and shipping address, and then we'll ship these up for them, and they'll enjoy a foul ball from Wrigley Field. So.
Those outside the park trying to catch a ball felt something different about Wrigleyville.
It's weird when I get off the train. It's like it's an off day. There's like nobody here. I get here like 3 hours before game time. I'm like, yeah, check the schedule. There's like nobody here. I don't hear anything. It is very weird being out here. And so yeah, you got half a dozen ballhawks that show up. It kind of comes back to normal a little bit. Happy birthday. Once we're taking batting practice, I don't think there's anything different here. All right, what we need you to do is watch home plate. Who's up, righty or a lefty? We missed the fans. Lefty. Heads up, right at you, lady. Oh. It's kind of fun when they bounce and it's like chaos. It's still weird being here with no fans in the stands, and they're announcing. I don't know what they're announcing. I guess they must be doing it for us, since nobody else can hear them.
Although the Ballhawks could hear the game, The only place to see the Cubs play live and in person in 2020 was on the Wrigley rooftops.
To find out that a friend of mine had an opening on a rooftop, I was really excited. I'm one of the very few that are actually going to see a live Cubs game. Attaboy. That one I took the cue from the I know, because I was like... It's a strange experience, just seeing the entire stadium without anyone in it. Like, there was no one in the background of my photo in front of the marquee, and that was just like, wait, what? It feels like a movie set almost, you know, where it's not quite real life.
Despite a lack of energy in the ballpark, the Cubs were riding high on the field, while embodying the fans in the process.
You can here's teammates cheering him on in the third base dugout.
And I'm sure it's been a talking point with every manager in the game. Like, hey, it's on you guys in the dugout. Be the fans.
We've had such a good group of guys who have been fantastic with the energy in the dugout and creating some new and fresh ideas.
I think it showed how much fun we're having, how our dugout looks like a cheerleading team all the time. It's the joy of the game that we're playing for right now.
We're always wearing each other out. We heckle each other harder than we heckle other teams.
Jason, don't you dare miss this ball.
We just have fun with it.
Anthony, do it, Tom. Anthony. Yeah! Sit down. Yeah! Anthony!
I think without fans, there's kind of a scary likelihood of kind of losing the fun side of the game. So I think to have great people around you and really focus on winning, I think we're all really lucky to be in the situation we are.
You see Stallings setting up off the corner, and that's gonna do it. Javi Baez with a base hit.
Well, as soon as I got to first, I didn't know what was going to be the reaction, and you know, I saw everybody just taking their time walking out of the dugout. So I was like, okay, we're gonna keep 6 feet away. And that's what we did.
And the crowd goes wild, and the Cubs will come out for a socially distanced celebration in the middle of the diamond.
Cubs proved to 13-3 on the season, the Cubs' best start since 1907.
The Cubs were off to an historic start, but their schedule would be disrupted by a COVID crisis.
We have some breaking news. The entirety of the Cubs-Cardinals series has been canceled. This virus sucks, man.
When it started to affect us directly, when we went to St. Louis, we started having thoughts of, man, if this happens to another team, you know, how much longer do we have?
Have you gotten wind that things need to tighten up, not necessarily with your team, but the league in general, or things could be in jeopardy?
It's definitely in a lot of guys' minds, that's for sure. The guys here in our clubhouse know that the importance of sticking together and being as prudent as possible away from the field and at the field.
Nothing has really been like physically hard to do. Like, is it hard to wear a mask? No. Is it hard to take a test? No. I think it's just the mental component of like my choices are affecting more people than myself. And so I think just across the board, that was just the most mentally taxing.
You're trying to have camaraderie with masks on, trying to have camaraderie when you're trying not to stay in a clubhouse, after games, trying to have camaraderie when you're not, congregating on the plane, when you're not congregating in hotel rooms. And those are some of the areas that levity happens during a season, and that was forbidden. But I thought David Ross and the coaching staff did a fantastic job of making sure that even with all the protocols, that our guys were still connected.
I'm a team guy, and there's nothing more detrimental to that than, you know, stay away from one another, don't hang out with one another. Like, that's what team building is. I want them to have fun. I want them to celebrate. And, you know, if we do the simple things that the doctors are telling us, then we can loosen the reins a hair.
We definitely probably high-five more than's allowed, but we got hand sanitizer waiting right afterwards. So we're doing the best we can and trying to have some fun and win ball games.
I think that the outside pressures that he's had to deal with, he's handled wonderfully, and the energy that he's brought every day to the ballpark. It's infectious. He's done a great job with it.
During the weekend of the canceled series against the Cardinals, David Ross scheduled a fun hitting competition to boost team morale.
4 points if you hit the target on a bounce, 5 points if you smoke the target on the line.
Cardboard targets of celebrity fans and staff were placed around the field, and the players took aim.
I'm going to go righty and just hit Bill Murray in the head 7 times.
Bill Murray, assistant clubhouse manager Danny Mueller, and bullpen catcher Chad Noble.
It's the longest divvy rental of all time.
All found themselves in the crosshairs of Cubs hitters.
No leg day, 22. Big Jocks, 20. Oh, yeah.
Eddie Vedder wouldn't be spared, nor his airness. Ross's leadership was keeping the mood light and the team together. Despite the obstacles presented by COVID, the Major League season continued on. But for the first time in its history, the minor league baseball season would be canceled, and many of the players would miss an entire year of their careers. However, MLB did allow for each major league team to create an alternate squad that would work out and stay game ready.
Straight. There's situations that you kind of have to imagine in your head, like runner on second, 2 outs, because we don't have the number of position players as we would need to field 9 and have enough runners. It's the same work, you just got to have a little more imagination.
Ghost runners in a ghost town minor league park seem pretty fitting for 2020. But that's what the alternate site in South Bend was working with this season. Despite not being able to play in meaningful games with the cancellation of the minor league season, the Cubs prospects are making the most of their development.
Wind's blowing out today. Everything we need is right here. But I do miss the competitiveness of a minor league season and being with a team that's traveling. But this is the next best thing. It gives you a great opportunity to work on stuff against high-level pitchers, guys who have been there, guys who are trying to get there.
One of those pitchers was Adbert Alzolay. The Cubs turned to Alzolay's fresh arm to help them get through a grueling stretch of doubleheaders against the rival Cardinals.
Here's today's starter in Game 2. It's Adbert Alzolay.
He's got a taste of the major leagues, and he knows what it feels like. Yes, there's not 30,000 people in the stands, but I like him. The Cubs like him. Hopefully the Cards will dislike him.
Carlson, switch hitter, batting left-handed, swings and misses. Strike 3.
Alzolay's strong performance would help the Cubs grind through a challenging series against the Cardinals.
Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 5 innings for Adbert Alzolay. Tie game, bases loaded, final inning. With one away, the strike 2 pitch. Bodie lines one center field, base hit. One run is in. Contreras heading to the plate. The throw by Bader to the plate. Not in time.
That first week of doubleheaders with the Cardinals was exhausting. I think it was a big moment for us just to be able to come together in a situation that wasn't favorable and grind it out a series win.
And the 3-2 to Wong. Strike 3 call, Cubs win.
It all goes back to our vibe and just us doing the best we can to stay positive and know that we've all come too far to let something like that hurdle us and be an excuse.
A long series comes to an end and ends on a very positive note for the Chicago Cubs.
The mental hurdles, it took a toll. I think guys felt really exhausted, and rightfully so. They were mentally drained from all the things that are happening.
The Major League Baseball season was not only being played in a pandemic caused by COVID-19, but it was also being played under the backdrop of racial injustice in our country.
Alive. George Floyd. Allow the George Floyd. Allow the George Floyd.
It's an issue that predates 2020, but it was resonating differently, where nationwide protests were crossing over into sports.
The top story in Major League Baseball tonight, 3 Major League Baseball games postponed today in protest of the police shooting of Jacob Blake, and several high-profile Major League Baseball players electing not to play, including Cubs outfielder Jason Hayward.
We just got to keep bringing awareness. This is our livelihood. This is what's going on in our community. So, yeah, I feel like I need to be a part of it, or else I'm going back on my word. Personally, just as a black person growing up in Georgia, we were very hesitant to speak up on certain things because you wanted to move forward. You always felt like, and were made to feel like, progress didn't come from speaking up on issues that you have. It felt like you're complaining. We no longer are second guessing that, and we're choosing to speak up. We're not comfortable with, oh, well, let's just turn on a baseball game and then we can forget about all this and it'll go away. That's not what we want.
As someone who's known Jason Hayward a really long time, what sort of empathy or sympathy do you feel at a time like this?
Yeah, I mean, it's, I can't even imagine what he's going through.
It's felt like hitting your head against the wall. But I think my job is to say, hey, we have an issue here. We're asking for help. We're not asking for anything other than just stop doing things that don't make common sense. Do right, don't do wrong.
It was trying times and it was growing times for all of us, but at the end of the day, we all united as one for our common goal, that's to end racism in our country.
We followed Jay Hayes' lead really this year and been able to be a part of Major League's effort for social justice, and I think it's just the beginning of that. So I think a lot of us are learning, and there's a lot of positive that can come out of that.
Hayward not only used his voice to inspire change, but also followed up with his actions, helping bring together black youth and police officers to address racial inequalities.
Fortunately, I was able to get involved with some good people in the city of Chicago. The healing circles, getting together and talking, it was humbling just to listen, hear police officers tell their side, have the kids tell their side, let them ask questions, let them share fears, let the police officers also share their fears, and let them be able to say that, look, we understand there's a problem and we want to do better. I think my job is to use my platform to make it okay and show that everyone is accepted here.
Hayward's commitment to racial equality, as well as his generous donations to help low-income communities in Chicago, earned him a nomination for Major League Baseball's ROBERTO CLEMENTE Award, given annually to the player that understands the value of giving back.
he not only has a genuine care and concern for communities and communities of color in particular, but he has an unbelievable heart, and it shines.
I think the Cubs organization, Chicago Cubs, are doing everything they can to back myself up, my teammates, people in the black community. We got to keep doing our part to let them know, hey, we're not comfortable here. To me, that means equality. That means ending racism. That means that we're all in this together and not just saying it.
Sports has the power to be able to help us all heal from this. Sport is inherently an inclusive community builder, and we need to actually elevate the power of that right now during this pandemic more than ever.
Just want to continue to be a great influence. We want them to see that athletes do care and just want to influence communities, influence the world, and feel the reality of what we're making an impact on.
One of the biggest changes for road games in 2020 wasn't so much for the players, but for the broadcasters.
Chicago Cubs baseball is on the air from Miller Park in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's Game 2 of this 3-game weekend series between the Chicago Cubs and the Milwaukee Brewers.
There's no one in Major League Baseball that has a cooler view when their team is on the road than us.
Instead of broadcasting from the away ballpark, the teams broadcast remotely from an empty Wrigley Field.
It's kind of a funny thing, but the first few games we did, I found myself I kept looking out at the field. There's nothing going on. There's nobody here. Why am I looking at the field? Well, because that's what I've done thousands of times broadcasting games.
To keep up with the action on the field, the Cubs radio team called the games off of TV monitors for the 2020 season.
That took a little getting used to for both Pat and I. You know, we've had a few hiccups. We're making the best of it. Pat and I are having fun. We get to laugh at each other a little more because of the mistakes, so that's all right.
The pitch to Urias, swing and a missed, strike 3.
Another thing that threw me off was we are the only ones in the ballpark. So the lights in about the 5th inning of the game, they're out, and we are in darkness. You can't even see the warning track in center field. And we have some of the only lights on in the entire ballpark, which means we are very attractive to the bug community.
How's it going over there?
Eventful.
Eventful.
Yes,
I think Zach over here is playing Karate Kid. With the
Cubs trail 2-0. Jason Hayward at the plate. First and third, one away. Baez at third. Billy Hamilton at first. Hader's pitch on the way to Hayward. Swung on, hit in the air, right center field and deep. Back toward the wall. It's got a chance. That ball is gone for a home run. Can you believe it?
Oh, my. Who would have guessed that against Hader? A fastball down, and I mean, Hayward crushes this ball to right center field.
What a ball game for the Chicago Cubs. They rally against Josh Hader, and they win the game 4-2 here at Miller Park. A stunning win for the Cubs. Woo. There's a certain energy that just fills the ball club after you win a dramatic game like the Cubs did last night.
One day after pulling out a thrilling come-from-behind win, the Cubs followed it up with one of the most historic pitching performances in franchise history.
You know, it's funny, I actually didn't feel great going in. Just an early morning game, Sunday, just kind of had to knock some cobwebs off.
Alec Mills, the bespectacled right-hander, to go to work on the Brew Crew. Change-up swung on and missed, strike three.
Vogelbach strikes out swinging.
For me, it was just a matter of getting out and getting ahead of guys and just attacking hitters.
Alec Mills rolling along. The Brewers still without a base hit as we go to the 7th inning in this game, so stay tuned.
Anytime you have a no-hitter, it's a historic moment. But his was so unique because of how few swing and miss he actually got in the game. Every outfielder made a play, every infielder got a ball. I just don't know how many times you've seen that.
Popped up on the infield, David Bodie. Woo! Let's go to the 9th inning.
It's such a short season. You're trying to find your guys that are playing every day rest. Jay Hay is the first guy I went to and just said, hey, man, I think we're going to try to get you out of there here soon. He goes, I'm riding with Millsy. That's the kind of players I want.
All kinds of Mills family and friends glued to their television sets, no doubt, with sweaty palms.
Let's see if he can come back and get Peterson. The 3-1 pitch on the way. A swing and a ground ball toward the middle. Baez has it, throws to first. Alec Mills has just pitched a no-hitter. A no-hitter for Cubs right-hander Alec Mills. The Cubs are mobbing the young right-hander on the mound, jumping up and down.
That's a tough thing to do. Throw a no-hitter against that team in their ballpark. A lot of things make it impressive for me, but I think that really gave everybody a lift.
What a great moment for Alec Mills as the Cubs win the ball game 12-0.
Shortly after making history, the Cubs spent some time capturing it.
Going up.
Yeah, we've never shot this angle before. It's be interesting.
Stephen Green has captured every Cubs team photo since 1982. But this one would be different.
This is by far the largest team picture we'll ever have shot. And the weirdest, and probably, you know, other than, 1984 and the 2016, probably the most historic.
Every team photo has been in the same spot in center field. Except for this year, where the team would sit in the bleachers to comply with distancing protocols.
There they go. It looks like a field trip. I'm sure a lot of these guys have never been in the bleachers. Look, somebody's up there looking out over the top. And oh, it's Darvish. He's probably never been out there seeing that view.
Coaches in the front, players up, is he cold or what do you see on the page?
Here we go. Okay, mask off now. Has everybody got them off? Can you see? All good. All right. See you next year for it. Yeah, look at the guys. They're looking. I wonder if they're going to try and go up. Here they are. They're going up in the scoreboard.
A season full of quirks did lead to some perks.
Call Wilson Contreras.
Calling Wilson Contreras. iPhone.
Hey, I can see you. I'm in center field. If you guys want to line up against it, we'll take a shot of you.
Okay.
It's about the camaraderie in the group on that one. That kind of fits in with the whole year, don't you think?
only at Wrigley Field.
This could be our last run with all our core guys. So I'm enjoying every second of it. I think it's really showing that we're just playing basically high school summer baseball right now. I'm not worrying about if someone's hitting 500, if someone's hitting under 200. It's just let's win, pick each other up, and figure it out.
Lindor ready to tag. This should be fun. Hayward cranks it up. He's got it! Out at the plate. What a throw! He's going to try to score. And he is going to score. Of course he is.
Even though the team was winning, there was no escaping the weight of the season. For John Lester, it was the realization that he might be pitching his last game at Wrigley Field.
All right, John Lester has joined us, and we can open it up for questions.
I see your emotion, and you're obviously alluding to the fact that this could be the last or one of the last times you pitch at this ballpark. Was that one of the things going through your mind?
Yeah, obviously. Probably the last regular season start. Put on the pinstripes tonight. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, a lot of things on my mind.
Are you a little frustrated that you're not able to kind of say goodbye to the fans?
I think that's probably the most frustrating part for me. Have an empty stadium, not really how I envisioned possibly my last start here. But I didn't think 6 years would go this fast.
Appreciate it.
We miss the fans. They give you so much positive reinforcement. Like to be able to get the walk off and the standing ovations and the curtain calls. Like I got that, and I know how special that is to me. I got so much of that, and I don't deserve any of it compared to like a guy like John Lester, who was the guy who changed everything here.
Since he set foot in Chicago, this dude's been a rock here. Him out there on that mound, battling his ass off, doing that for this city, changing the culture. Got to show him some love, got to show him the respect, and we hope we can do a lot more for him here in the near future.
Although Lester wasn't able to get a send-off from the fans, his teammates tried to lift up his spirits with a humorous tribute video.
Jonathan Tyler Lester. This is Kyle Joseph Ford.
It's all about positivity. It's all about picking each other up. It's all about everybody pulling and working together for one common goal, and that's winning every day.
Although the Cubs clinched a spot of the 2020 postseason, the team had its sights set on more: a division title.
It's the final regular season series of the year for both teams as the Chicago Cubs take on the Chicago White Sox. Both teams are playoff bound, and both teams still hope to win their division championship. Deep left field, back is the left fielder, Engel at the wall, leaping, home run! Now the 1-1, Contreras drives one in the air, right field deep, that ball's got a chance, gone!
See ya.
Call strike 3.
Cubs win the ball game, and they have clinched a tie for the Central Division Championship. First pitch to Bryant, drilled in the air, left field, deep down the line. If it's fair, it's going to be gone. That ball is a grand slam home run for Chris Bryant. We have Zach with an update from St. Louis.
Final, Milwaukee shuts out St. Louis 3-0. The Cubs have clinched the National League Central.
So the Chicago Cubs are the 2020 National League Central Division champions.
The Cubs made it through an entire season full of restrictions and confinement. But their world was about to shrink even more.
My downtime was packing up and getting ready for this bubble.
In order for the Cubs to participate in the postseason, the players, staff, and families would have to quarantine in Chicago at the Hotel Zachary through the Wild Card Series.
It was just like kind of the cherry on top of like, what's next, to be honest with you.
The unique thing for us, we were playing here in Chicago. My family's been quarantining for the entire summer, and I couldn't even stay at home with my family.
Hopefully we never experience that kind of quarantine again. You weren't allowed to congregate with anyone. There was a sense of isolation. There was a sense of aloneness, and I think that players had to fight hard to get through that.
Just having to ask for permission to go on a walk, it's like it feels more like a zoo animal than a baseball player or a human.
You had to let the security guard know if you were going across the street to Starbucks, or, it's like, wait a minute, I'm 43 years old, I'm the manager of the Cubs, and I'm checking in with some guy I've never even met, telling him I gotta go across the street and get a coffee. You had to bring everybody in, so people got their dogs, and they're taking them out to the park across the street to use the bathroom. Just a weird, the whole thing was just super weird. But we made the best of it.
The players deserve so much credit for what they did, and we had no positive tests. And I think that's something we have to be incredibly proud of, that this group bound together, took it seriously, made those sacrifices, and we were able to get through the entire season unscathed.
After making it through the regular season safely, the Cubs turned their focus to the postseason.
Numbers don't matter, stats don't matter. It's all about getting the W. This is the exciting, this is the fun part. This is where you make history.
Although the Cubs won the division, the team was struggling at the plate, and they would need to rally behind starting pitching to get them through the wild card series against the Marlins.
Bouncer to Bryant. He's going to step on third, throw to first in time. It's a 5-3 double play. He kicks and fires, and Happ hits a high drive deep to left. Dickerson at the wall. It's gone! A go-ahead home run for Ian Happ.
Sometimes timing is everything.
Despite an early lead, the game was turning against the Cubs.
And the pitch swung on, hit to deep left center field. That's trouble, and that is going to be gone for a 3-run home run. And Miami now leading 1-0.
The Cubs had one more chance to extend the series. They would turn to their Cy Young candidate, Yu Darvish, to get the job done.
The 0-2. Right there, got him looking, and Darvish razor sharp.
Darvish coming back 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Baez swings and misses, strike three.
It's number 6 on the day. 5 have been swinging.
Fly ball left field, it's deep, it's trouble. Back is Schwarber at the left field wall, and that ball is going to be gone for a home run.
Trailing by 2 in the 9th, the Cubs were down to their last strike.
And the 2-2. Swing and a miss, and the ball game is over. The Miami Marlins start to celebrate as they will advance to the National League Division Series, and the Cubs season for 2020 is now in the history books.
It's going to be tough, going back and wishing we had more games, but we don't, and there's no regrets. I think everyone has laid it on the line every day and came in with a great attitude, and it just sucks.
It's like, hey, here's the season, here's 60 games. Go out there and sprint, and then, we're in the playoffs, and then we get, punched in the teeth 2 games in a row, and now we're here. It's just, I don't know, it's just the weirdest thing that I've experienced, maybe my whole life. Definitely my baseball career, but maybe my whole life. It's just been strange.
How do you think this season will be remembered 10, 20, 50?
I have no idea. I don't know. It could be the forgotten season. I don't know. Like what? Or like the most intriguing season. I don't know. They make us special. I don't know what you do with this season.
I think we'll have a lot of questions for people that didn't go through it. Like, why do they have on masks on? Where are the fans? What do you mean you couldn't come to the field whenever you wanted? I think it'll be remembered as a very unique time in our world and definitely in the baseball world.
It was only 60 games, but yeah, it definitely felt like more than 162. It was a big change for us, and I think the most mentally exhausting season for sure, by far.
It was as real as it gets. Guys had real issues, real struggles. But I hope it's remembered for what we were able to accomplish and not about what we didn't get done this year.
It's not going to be about your numbers. It's going to be about how we came together as a group and got through something that was a crazy time.
I think it'll be remembered, for what it was, which is we tried our best to provide something during a dark time. And hopefully we made that dark time a tiny bit brighter.
The 2020 season will be remembered in a lot of ways. For the fans, it was a season from a distance, a season away from Wrigley Field.
This is the first year I can remember not being in Wrigley for a baseball game during a season. I tried to listen to whatever I can hear. If I could hear the bat hit the ball, I was listening for that. I was straining to hear the bat hitting the ball. I never thought I'd get excited about that. I steal moments where I can just walk my dog around the ballpark. It's 1.4 miles around the ballpark from my house to here. I know the distance to walk my dog. I just want it back. It's right here, but we just want it back.
Wrigleyville was not the same. You really want to see the fans out there. You really want to put on a show for people and the cheering and the clapping, and you really miss it.
High drama at Wrigley. 2-2 on David Bodie, trying to come through. Bodie drives one in the air, deep center field. It's got a chance. It's a grand slam. A grand Grand slam for David Bodie. Can you believe it?
Just to see people be happy. Taking in an atmosphere like they do so well here on the north side of Chicago. And that's something I never take for granted.
What we do is something that needs to be shared with fans. It needs to be shared with the world. I think it's something that can bring people together, you know, maybe set aside problems or set aside issues that we have and spend some time with your family.
One of the most special things about being a Major League Baseball player is seeing a little kid taking in baseball for maybe the first time. That's one of the most fulfilling parts of our job. I think that is probably the thing that I'm most excited to have back.
It will be an amazing feeling seeing just probably the joy of everyone in the stands, just enjoying Wrigley Field. And that day is going to come, hopefully sooner than later.
We play this game for the fans, we really do. And the impact they have on us on the field, in the dugout, as a manager, as a player, like it's irreplaceable. I'm looking forward to that historic ballpark being packed again on a sunny day in the summer in Chicago and being able to pull out a W and hear "Go Cubs Go" at the end.